Okay, so the question in this video is what technique should I use in OET listening part A? Alright, so in other words, how should I do this part of the test? What's the best way to do this part of the test? And the answer really is to think carefully about what you're going to do in the 30 seconds before you start. Alright, most students in those 30 seconds are going to start to look at the gaps in the test paper, and they're going to do some kind of analysis that allows them in some sense to try to predict or anticipate what's coming. Okay? So I think most students know that. Most students will look at what's coming in the test in those 30 seconds. However, you have to analyze this part of the test in a good way. All right? So in this video, I'm gonna tell you the best way to analyze the gaps before you start, because you're trying to predict the information that you might hear. Okay? Now, one of the big mistakes that most students make is they try to guess the word. Right? So you're looking at this and you think, oh, well, maybe that's going to be mechanic or, sailor, right? Because it's a job. It looks like it's going to be a job. Don't try and guess the specific word. That's not very useful. Okay, so that's the first point. Second point is this. Many students, they try to think about the grammar of this, right? So they think, okay, well, this will be a noun. This will be an adjective. All right? Now, look, that might help you. Do that if you want, but for me, as a native speaker, as someone who I've done the test many times, when I'm listening, I don't listen for noun, adjective, noun, verb, adjective. My brain doesn't really work like that, and I don't think most people's sort of cognition works like that, okay? So maybe that's useful in some sense, but I want to advise you in this video not to do that, right? So don't try and guess the word. Don't really focus too much on the grammar. What you need to do is try to think about the category of information that you need. All right? It's the category of information, right? So it might be that you want symptoms. It might be that you want the name of a condition. It might be that you want the treatment. Okay? It might be, and we'll see this later, that you want a description of something, description of treatment or description of the symptom. Okay? These are the kinds of things you need to listen to. And remember, we said in a previous video, OET are testing note-taking, right? You're listening for specific information. So you need to, when you're analyzing that text at the start, when you're looking at this and you're trying to analyze, you need to think about what categories of information are coming here. All right, so that's the kind of the main point here. But there's much more for me to say in this video. Okay, so the next point here is pay attention to the subheadings here. Okay, they'll help you to predict the categories that you want. Right. So look, here we've got a subheading. It's telling me the kind of information, the category of information that they're going to discuss in general in this dialogue. So you focus on the subheading first, and then you look at the gaps and you're trying to think about the different possible categories that there could be there. Is it treatment that I want? Is it a diagnosis, a symptom, right? That's what you could even write it down if you want, but that's what you need to be thinking about in the 30 seconds before you start. Another important thing is this. Let's look at audio 1 here, 12 questions. I'm sure there's many people watching this video who've done the OET test before, right? So you know that the first couple here, they're usually not that difficult. The ones early on, okay? The 1, 2, 3, or 4. I mean, it might be possible that there are some that are a little bit difficult, but usually, from all the tests I have seen, it gets more difficult at the end, right? That's where the answers come much faster. So when we're trying to analyze the gaps in those 30 seconds before you start, you need to focus here, right? And think about this. Can you really analyze 12 gaps in 30 seconds? The answer is no, right? And I don't advise my students to try to do that. I would focus on the later gaps, so maybe the last 6. Focus on those. Focus on the category of the information that you require. Okay? In the next video, I'll talk to you more about this idea of the category. Okay? But just to finish this video, I just want to summarize what I've said so far, right? Don't try to predict specific words. Don't focus too much on the grammar of the word that you want, okay? Instead, think note-taking. I'm taking notes, all right? I want things like symptoms, I want treatments, I want conditions, right? Or, very important, I want descriptions of treatments, descriptions of conditions, descriptions of symptoms, right? I'm listening for specific things because I'm taking notes. I'm trying to write notes, all right? Focus on the category, use the subheading to help you with those categories, okay? Hope this video was useful. I'll see you in the next video where I'll talk in more detail about categories of prediction.